So bear with me. This is my first YouTube video. For those that don't know me, I am Nikki. Nicole, Nikki. People call me Nicole. People call me Nikki or Nicole. If I started to look down, that's because I wrote down notes so I wouldn't get thrown off. I want to keep this under 30 minutes. But I know I said I would release a video for my birthday, and I really want to. People that know me, you guys that do know me, know that I have been writing a book forever. No, not forever. Well, for about a year and a half, just about my life and what I went through. I feel like everything that I've been through in life was not just by chance. It was to help me. So I do want to share the story with other people around the world so that they can potentially be helped, or you can take from me what you would like to take from it and apply it to your life. I do feel like the things that I have been through was pretty much hell a little bit. But now that I have lived 39 long years, I pretty much feel like now that nothing was a setback. It was all a setup. This is something that I recently just discovered through living 39 years of my life. And I have been saying 39 because this is my birthday release video, my first YouTube video. So you will hear that probably throughout this video. But anyway, 39 years of my life, I felt like things was always like, oh, I've been set back, or this is hindering me, or just I felt like everything was just like a setback, or things was stopping me to get to where I'm supposed to be, or different things that was just stopping me. But I grew to realize that as the more and more that I study, and the more and more that I follow God, and He showed me little bitty pieces at a time, which with God, that's how God works. I don't know what religion you guys are, but I am a Christian, and I do believe in Lord Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, Holy Spirit. I believe in all three. So you may hear me say that a lot. But I do know that through everything that I have been through life, that now I realize that it was not to set me back, or it was not a setback. It was a learning lesson. So today, and I'm looking down because I do have notes, but today I just want to speak about, how I became focused, just to how I became me, like how I grew into who I am. And this may help someone else, and this is why I'm releasing it. And I won't release everything, like go into details about a lot of stuff, because I do want to say that for the book, that will be so juicy and so life-changing. So yeah, today we'll just, summarize and breeze through and just talk a little bit. So how I became focused on who I am, I was just tired, tired of failing, tired of from relationship to relationship, just not knowing who I really am. Just tired of not knowing, not feeling at my full potential self, not being who I felt like I was in the inside. I was just going along with the flow of what I saw and what I grew up around. So that's why it's very vital, especially us that have kids, to grow them up around what you want them to potentially become, because believe it or not, what you begin to see is what you will grow up to become, if you're not strong enough to say, well, that's not what I want. And that's what happened with me. The environment I grew up around, I wouldn't say it was all bad, but it was a little bad. I wouldn't say it was project, but it was hood. And so you grew up around drug dealers, strippers, people that made a lot of fast money. And so that's the mentality that I began to gain, that, it was easy to make fast money. If you wanted to go this way, and this is what you could do. So I began hanging around these group of people that, that's what they did. They made fast money. They was entertainers. So that's what I became. An entertainer. And my son is playing the game, but yeah. So I became an entertainer, and throughout the process, I just learned a lot about myself. Had a lot of weak moments, had a lot of pressuring moments, had a lot of out of body, out of mind moments. But I can say that those moments also taught me I used to say I wasted 8 years of my life just doing that, and just wasted 8 years of my life. And now I grew to realize that if I would have never went that route, would I be where I am today? Would I be as strong as who I am today? So never, I say that to say, never down yourself or downplay yourself or feel bad or trying to find the word that I'm looking for. Never shame yourself or feel shameful for what you did in life or what you have done, because those simple things like that, those things that we thought were so terrible, will help us in the long run. That's what happened with me. If I want to know, I feel like now if I would have never went through that, living 39 years, I feel like if I would have never went through what I went through in the beginning of my life, in the beginning stages of my adulthood, would I be who I am now? Would I be as strong as who I am now? Would I be able to take a lot? Would I be able to see the world different, or my life different than where I'm going? Would I see it different, or how, what would progress out of me? That's not to say that things in life that we did was okay. It was just a learning lesson. Throughout everything, it's a teachable, learnable lesson. So things are here to teach us, and it's what you pull from it and what you grab from it and move on from it. So that 8 years went on in my life, and I got sick and tired of that. I just figured out that wasn't really for me. I just wanted the fast money. And the money was great, but all the time you think you're doing great, the devil is there plotting, so you can be on a great path, and then you can get thrown off, and you can become, focus on the wrong thing, and then that's how the devil sinks in, so different things occurred. And out of 8 years, I felt like I had wasted my time and wasted my life. I used to always beat myself down like, oh, where would I be if I didn't waste those 8 years there. But also I met some awesome friends. I met some awesome people. I learned some awesome things. So I just wouldn't say it was all bad. I say it was a learning experience. I always was a hairstylist growing up. From a little girl, I used to do hair. My mom used to taught me how to braid when I was maybe about 14, 15 years old. She taught me how to braid, scalp braid. And she taught me how to braid. She kept our hair braided as kids. So she taught me how to braid hair, and just from there, I would just put my own little techniques in it. I used to want hairstyles. I'd go into the salon and they'll do my hair, and I just wouldn't like it, or I'll go home and I'll change it, or I held my mom to help me change it. When I went to visit her, because I always lived with my dad, but when I went to visit my mom, I would have her to help me change my hair. And so she would help me change my styles, and we would just recreate a new style. So time after time, I would go to the salon, wasting my money. So I just decided to start doing my own hair, coloring my hair, messing it up, cutting it, doing everything. And so my mom would help me do styles that I just would think of in my head, or I would see, and I would want to do it myself. And that's how that hair started with me. So I always knew I had to give. My hands was blessed. I always knew that from the beginning. But just like I said, I grew up around fast-paced, fast people getting fast money, and that's what I knew. So hair wasn't making fast enough money for me, or enough fast enough money for me. So I didn't go that route. But I always had hair in the bag. People always ask me who did my hair. Once I told them me, that I just gained clients just from how my hair was, just from what they saw in me. So I never really marketed around people that I do hair, or try to market for people. People would just gravitate to me because I always had my hair done really cute, and I always did it. So I knew hair was a gift for me. I knew I should have been a stylist, and I knew that, and I should have went that route. But like I said, it was just a fast-paced money, so I didn't. And that's the thing, you have to stay focused on what's for you. Whether it seems like it's slow, it's not moving, what's going on, in the end, the reward will be there. It's just focus on one thing, or focus on your talent that you know you have. And once you take your mind off the money, I learned this out of 39 years of living, but once you take your mind off the money and what the money will make, the gift will make room for the money. So I'm saying that to say, focus on your gift. Focus on the gift that God has given you, because all of us have a gift. Regardless of what it is, it's a gift. And if we don't focus on the money coming from the gift and just focus on the gift, the money will come. So yeah, that's a word. I just wanted to say that. So after the 8 years, I just decided I was over with, done with that. That wasn't me. I was tired of it. Tired of doing things that just wasn't me, period. So another thing I want to say is to watch the company you keep, because 9 times out of 10, the people that you hang around is what you will become. So I heard someone say before, look at this, look at your circle, look at the people you hang around. That's you, or that will become you. So try to hang around what you want to become, or try to stay in communication with what you want to become. Like for me right now, I know this may sound kind of weird, but I follow a lot of people on social media to where I want to be. So I don't hang around these people. I don't know them personally, but I feel like I am gaining knowledge from them. So I do follow and study a lot of people that's on a level where I want to be, or becoming a level where I want to be. So that's another thing. You don't just have to hang around who you want to be or what you want to become. You can also study that person and just learn about them. How did they go through it? And every situation is different. I totally feel like what's for you is for you. So I totally feel like just because this is the way that person got there doesn't mean that's the way you may get there, but you may take some pointers from that person or some tips from that person, and you can apply that to your life. So yeah. So going on, just to talk a little bit about my life. I met a guy, we got married, had a baby. Between the 10-year span, a lot of stuff occurred, a lot of good stuff and a lot of in between and a lot of bad. So throughout life, I would just say, make sure that you're not rushing the process. Make sure that you are with who's makes you happy and not for the material things. That's what I would say. When I got with my husband, I would say that I was in a weak space. I was in a space where I was vulnerable. I was just leaving the entertainment world. I went from having it all, the luxury of life with us African Americans, the area that I'm from, the city of Atlanta, called luxury. I went from that to barely having anywhere to stay. So when someone comes along that can help you, you feel like they can help you through the process, maybe you will forget about or move fast, or you may forget about your dreams or what you thought a husband would be or how it would be, because at the moment you're living in the moment of, I don't have anything, what am I going to do? Because at this point I'm not there anymore, so I'm not bringing in that income. So the things that I have accomplished from this luxury lifestyle, I can't afford anymore. So if someone comes along and say, well, I can help you, and you feel like you don't know what you're going to do, you're going to accept it, if you're not strong enough to know. So anyway, throughout the 10th expansion, it was all kind of stuff, fighting a federal case that I eventually took me 2 years to win, but I did beat it by the grace of God. I had nothing to do with it, but it doesn't matter. That's not how the government works. That's not how the United States of America government works. So it doesn't matter if you say you have nothing to do with it, you have to prove it. So it took me 2 years to prove that, and I totally beat it. And then home invasions and shootouts, and just me feeling like I was in just mob type family, mob type relationship, because it wasn't family, mob type relationship. I just feel like I just had been through a lot. So that was the turning point for me. The turning point, even though me, myself, was on a walk with God at the time of all of these events, when all these events was taking place, even though me, myself, was on a point where I was walking with God, and that's a lot of what saved me out of all of this, and me and my kids and my family and everything. That's a lot of what saved me, like a lot of prayer, a lot of following God, a lot of listening to God. At that point, I barely had friends. I barely had people that I would pick up the phone and talk to. I would call on a couple of prayer warriors that would pray with me all the time, but just at that point, it was kind of like, a dark space. Because to me, it just feel like when you leave in the world and you're trying to get yourself focused on God and get yourself focused on the word and trying to live a different life, that's when it seems like all hell, the enemy trying to pull you back in. He's really trying to work. When he see that he don't have you, he can't pull you back in, then all type of stuff come, and that's when the word kick in. You have to know that word is not just for you to go to church on Sunday and hear, or pick up your Bible and read and just write down some notes. It's for you to use in the time that you need it in. So a lot of those things that I went through, like fighting a federal case, From the time they came and arrested me, bust down our door, arrested me in my house, put me and my kids on the ground, and arrested me in front of my kids. I made the news, every news channel. My house was on the news, my kids, me, throughout all of that, I knew that I had the word. If I didn't have the word, I don't know what I would do. But I just used to talk to God and let him know, like, God, I know you're gonna get me out of this, because I absolutely have nothing to do with it, and I just can remember being in a cell for a couple of hours, and after that, they had to release me, but a couple of hours, I can remember being in a cell just saying, God, I don't know what pray to you, because I don't have anything to do with this. And I just started speaking in tongues in the cell, and it's a girl that follows me on Instagram. She know, because she was in the cell with me. But we was devastated, and she was more devastated than me. And I just let her know, we just got to pray. We can pray, and we just got to pray. We're going to get out of this. This is not for us. It's just a little enemy trying to step in. And so I know that prayer works. That's another thing. I'm saying this to say that prayer works. So don't take for granted when you go into church and you listening to the word, and you taking your notes, and you picking up your Bible, or you looking on Instagram and you seeing spiritual quotes and you screenshotting them, and you seeing stuff that you pulling and you grabbing it for you. Always use that for your benefit. So when things come like that, you can always pull that out the bag. You can always pull that out the bag when God said that he's my protector. He's my shield. Like, those are things that I used to hear in church and learn. I used to take notes in. So when I got into a bind, I didn't have my notes or anything, but I can remember that word that says that he's my shield, he's protecting me, that he'll come, and he's my almighty, so I stood on that word, and that's what the word is for. So I'm saying it to say, those of you that go to church and read your Bible, or see Instagram is such a good tool if you use it for what it's good for, because there's some great people on there. So even when you see people just using their platform to release different things, or you see quotes that fits you, just screenshot them, because those are the things you'll remember in the time that you need them. And throughout the home invasion, no one was hurt, and it was just only God, and nothing could happen. And the guy, he was just all frantic when he got into the house, and he couldn't do anything. It was like he was kind of stuck, and he just went on back out the door. It didn't happen that fast and that quick, but it was no one heard, and nothing. So you'll hear more about, like, in detail about everything in my book, From Safe to Save. So you will hear more about the details, but just to run through it, just the life of things and what made me become who I am and how I am right now and why I am this way that I am. And so, throughout all of that, throughout the 10-year expansion of, I was talking about the 10-year expansion of the marriage, span of the marriage, it was just kind of like, a learning lesson, a real learning lesson. I would say people that have kids, that's what I want to say. I want you to make sure that you are choosing your mate wisely, especially if you're planning on having any kids or you already have kids. It's going to be very vital in their life in the future to who you decide to be your mate. The most hurting thing that a parent want to go through is that a child has to go through a breakup, or a child has to choose between my mom or my dad, or a child has to grow up in a one parent household. That's something that really you don't want. It's okay for single parents to raise a child. It is, but a child needs both his parents, and that's something that you don't want to go through in life. So just just be mindful of the decisions that we make. And I used to be really, really frantic and upset with my husband back in the day. I used to blame everything on him. Well, this your fault, and if you wouldn't be doing this, and I just used to point the finger at him. When really, as I matured, I really pointed the finger back at myself. I know that from my decisions I made is what have this to occur. So I couldn't no longer, I had to apologize to him so many times. I couldn't any longer always blame him. It was from the decision that I made, because from the beginning, you know who your mate is. And with me, it was that I knew who he was, but I always felt like I could change him. So I thought in my head, okay, well, it doesn't matter who he is right now. Once he get with me and we follow the Lord, I'm getting in church. I'm going to be this church girl, and he gonna turn into this pastor. I'm going far, but yeah. That, you know, oh, we just gonna learn to work together and we just gonna live happily ever after. So I thought I could change him. And just to let you know, you cannot change anyone. They have to change on their own. They have to want to change. They have to change on their own. They have to go through the same process we went through to change. So it's no way you can change a guy, or guys, it's no way you can change a girl. It's when a woman, it's when they want to. So that's the thing. I just tried to change him. And I just tried to make him be who I wanted him to be when he couldn't be his full self around me. So a lot of things that was happening, I had no idea about because you couldn't tell me that that was the same person. So anyway, I'm saying that to say, just take your time and choosing your mate. Also, never think you can change a person. Give them time to change on their own and then build a relationship or build a marriage or, you know, whatever. I would just say, take your time. You know, really take your time. Really make sure that, you know, it's no rush. It's no rush. Life is beautiful, and life is what you make it. You know, life is beautiful. So it's no rush. You know, I used to fear being single, and now I'm single, and it's marvelous. You know, I'm okay. I would like to not be single, but it's okay. You know, I couldn't imagine myself being single this long, but it's great. So just take your time and get to know yourself, and then go out there and find for who is for you. Okay, so after all of that, home invasions and arrests and going through the entertainment world and all of that, changing my life, trying to walk with God, and also, you know, straddling the fence. I got this over here, and then I'm over here with God, and I'm still, you know, one foot in and one foot out. Still, I'm in the Word, I'm in the world still, you know, and it's kind of like a struggle. And so you just have to put in your head that, you know, whatever comes with me being over here with the Lord and me being this way, that's what I'm going to do. So it took for me to sell my home. I know if I mentioned that we stayed in a beautiful 5-bedroom home on the basement, maybe like a mini mansion you would call it. 3-car garage, cars and all filled up the garage, all on the outside of the garage, like just that life, you know, just the life. And so going from that to, you know, barely having anywhere to stay, you know, just over that expansion of time. And I would say the most time I began to know myself is just when I only was in a room in someone's house that totally didn't want us there, me or my kids. But I just used to always just lock myself in my room, and I just used to distance out or just tune out the noise that was on the outside of the room. And that's where I got a lot of my studies going at. That's when I was broken down to ground zero a lot. So that pulled me closer and closer and closer to God, because I had no idea what I would do coming from a lifestyle of my dad. I lived with my dad. He gave me everything I could possibly want. I had no wants as a child. I ain't never seen my lights out. We never had a refrigerator, freezer full of food. My mom, my auntie is who I'm calling my mom, who I live with, my dad's sister and my dad, but I call her my mom. My mom would cook food, and she would still take us, if we didn't want to eat what she cooked, she would still take us to McDonald's or fast food and get us whatever we wanted. So I came from a great life, and but I also came from a life of fast-paced money. So when I grew up, hustling was just in me, because that's what I saw. That's what I knew. So I grew up with that mentality of fast money, and, you know, having my own and making a lot of money on my own, and I ain't really need a man, and, you know, and I just grew up like that. You know, by the time I was 23, I had probably did things in life that a 60-year-old, by the time they have lived, maybe have never done. I was in and out of town. I was book things that I would just book something for next week, and I would just go do it, and it was just like a fast life. So when I got into this room that I'm telling you about in this person's house, that's when I spent my most time with God. I spent my most time with God then, because I had no idea. I was on ground zero. I had no idea. And ground zero is this fast thing that we went through. We did I want to say it was a 10-day midnight fast during this time. Me being so distance and not knowing what I would do or where I would go or what's going on, I ran across this girl Facebook page and they was doing a 10-day midnight fast, and it was right on time for me. Every night at midnight, we would get on the line together on Facebook, and all of us would get on. She was on Facebook Live, and all of us would get on the live, and we did a 10-day midnight fast together, and it was just called Brick. One night was called Brick by Brick, and it was just amazing to me. One night was called Amaze Me God, and you know, night after night, it was just so much information that I needed. At this time, I had applied for the work for Delta Airlines, and after going through a 4-month process, they sent me an email and said that they were going with another candidate. So that had broke me down because I just knew I was gonna get this job. I'm changing my life, God. I'm not straddling the fence anymore. I'm going by your word. I just knew I was gonna get the job. But I told you I was fighting a 2-year case. So it's so amazing how God knows the right time is when it's right for you. So after they told me I didn't get it, they was going with another candidate. My lawyer texted me, so we did the midnight fast, and I want to get this in order because it's so great. I want you to just walk with God and know that when things not going the way we planned for it to go, it's always, God always has a plan. So that's why I want to get it the right order. So I was fighting the case. This was about 1 year and 8-9 months into the case. I sold my house, moved out to an apartment, lost that apartment. I was chasing my daughter's dream with her, lost that apartment, couldn't really afford it, but I wanted my daughter to go to the best performing arts school she can get in. So we moved in that area so that she can go there and apply for there and go and get in that school. And she got accepted into the school the day that I was arrested. She had an interview with the school, but I got out. I told y'all a couple of hours they had to let me loose. They didn't want to, but they did. They had to let me loose, and we went up to the school, and she got the position. She got the acceptance into the performing arts school, and so I moved up there, and I wanted to be her, have this dream of her doing performing arts at whatever school she wanted to go to, and I couldn't really afford it, but I was going to trust God and move up there and get into the salon and do hair, and that was all my plan. And I lost the apartment, so I wanted to go stay in this lady's house with her, and she hated us. Me. And she wanted me out and my kids out, and like I told you, I was in that room, and so we was on this 10-day fast. 10-day midnight fast, and each night we would do this fast, and each night I was just so hungry for God because I had no idea what I was going to do. Having to go stay with somebody never in my life, ever, never in my life, and especially someone that wasn't my family. And so I did that fast. I got an email from Delta saying that they're going with another candidate. I was devastated. So about a month after me being in like a depression mode because I had no idea. I just got off this fast. God, I really believe you. I don't know what's going on. I don't have no money. I don't have no job. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what I'm going to do. So I decided to just trust God. Maybe about a month after they said they was going with another candidate, Delta, I started applying again. I said, okay, God, I'm going to start applying again. Okay, I started applying again. About a week later, I got a call from Delta, a lady at Delta saying that she wants me to do an interview. I said, sure. She asked me all these questions on the phone. It was a phone interview first, and she said, okay, you passed that part, and now when can you come in for an interview? I said, it doesn't matter what day do you have available. She said, can you come in next Wednesday? I said, sure. I'm ready. Yes, of course. So I'm happy. I'm really excited, and I'm telling this part because this is going somewhere. I'm really excited, and I just told you guys that they already told me they were going with another candidate. I reapplied again. That was after 4 months. I reapplied again, and so they said that they want me to come in for the interview on a Wednesday. So I said, okay, fine. I'll come in. And she said, are you ready to take down the address? And I said, yes, I'm too excited. I went outside. I'm in my car, and I'm just doing the interview because I wanted to go outside when nobody was talking or anything. And she didn't hear or know it. So I'm in my car, and I'm just so happy. And I grab a pen, and I write down the address, and she said Boston, Massachusetts. So that took me back. And I had no idea how I was going to get there, but I said, sure, I'll be there. Had no idea. I told you guys I ain't have any money. I ain't have a job. This lady want me out her house with my kids. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really can't provide. I don't know how in the world I'm about to get to Boston, Massachusetts. I had never even been to Boston. I didn't even know where Boston was on the map. I knew it was up north somewhere, but I didn't know where. So I started looking around, and I told this one person, hey, I got this interview with Delta. I've been trying to get this job for so long and this and that. And they told me, and they said, well, maybe that's not for you, because how you going to get there? And I said, I don't know. I'm going to just try. I said, if I start driving 3 days before I make it there in time, for Wednesday, I'm going to leave probably on a Sunday, and I'm just going to drive. And so they was totally against it. They was like, no, maybe that's not for you. That's just not it. And I knew in my heart that I'm doing it. I don't care how I get there. I would walk. I would start walking today and make it on time by next Wednesday. Now, this was on a Wednesday. So spoke to another person, and I said, I got this interview with Delta, but I just don't know how she, and they began to tell me, they began to be like, you can't think like that. You just got to know that you're going to make it. And I said, that's what I know. I know I'm going to make it. I just need to figure out how. And so, I got out that phone with her, and I said, okay, I'll just leave on a Sunday driving, and I'll make it there by Wednesday, because I Googled everything, how long it take and all that. Okay, so then I called this girl, and I knew that worked for Delta. Me and her was going through the first interview together, so we was keeping up with each other. Had they called you back? Had they called you back? Me and her was going back and forth together, and she ended up getting a job, and I didn't. And so I called her, and I said, well, how was I was calling her to ask her what to expect. How was the face-to-face interview? What to expect? What should be going on? And this girl said, I said, I leave for my interview. I'm gonna leave on Sunday. I'm gonna just drive there. Maybe I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm thinking I'm gonna drive there. And she said that I'll give you a buddy pass to get there. And I just could not believe it. I could not believe it. I was like, oh no, I didn't call you for that. I totally called you just to ask you what to expect. How would the interview be face to face? What questions did they ask you? And she was like, no, girl, don't worry about it. She was like, you got this. She was like, I'll give you a buddy pass. And I really didn't know how buddy pass worked at the time. And she explained it to me. And then she said that so she said it was like $150 or whatever. And I had no idea where I was going to get that from. And I just didn't even worry about it. So I ended up flying up there. No, before I ended up flying up there, that was on a Wednesday. On a Friday, this is the killer part. On a Friday, that was on a Wednesday. She called me on a Friday. My lawyer emailed me the judge order saying that my case was dismissed. Throw out nothing. They was trying to get me to do probation and this, and I kept saying no. And then they said, we're gonna have to go to trial. And I said, we're gonna have to go to trial then, because I'm not taking anything. They was like, well, we can give you 12 months probation, we'll drop it down to misdemeanor. And I was like, no, I didn't do anything. I'm not taking that. So it took me 2 whole years to keep fighting. On a Wednesday, I did that interview on the phone with her, told her I'd be in Boston. I had no idea how I would be there. On a Friday, my lawyer texted me and sent me an email with the order saying that my case was dismissed from the judge. The order from the judge saying dismissed. On that Wednesday, I got on the flight and went to Boston and passed the interview. Them people gave me a federal fingerprint background check right then and there. You're not gonna tell me that God ain't good and He's in perfect timing. Passed the federal background check. Throughout all that they took me through behind that case, even though they saw it was dismissed, I still passed it through the federal. And Boston is a airport that's on the water, the ocean. So that's a mass airport. So you have to go through extra security screening. So it took me about a week or whatever for all that to come back. I had to do an interview with the federal agents at the airport in Boston, and everything passed it, no problem. So I'm saying that to say, never give up. Never ever give up. God knows when it's perfect time, it's perfect time. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry. But when I tell you that God is in perfect time, I mean perfect time. He knows what's going on. Never give up. Even when it seems like all odds against you, everybody's telling you no, they can't see the dream God has for you because it's not for them. So keep going, especially when you feel like something is for you. I will tell you that I have been applying for Delta since my sister, she was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I was 23. We started applying for Delta for baggage on the ramp. Me and her both could not lift 70 pounds above our head to put a luggage up that was 70 pounds, so we did not get the job. I kept applying year after year. I kept applying, never getting the interview again. I probably applied about 8 times to Delta and never got another interview with Delta. Until then, I would say that if Delta would have hired me back in the day when I was trying to apply for Delta, I would not be at Delta right now. So I'm saying that to say that everything is in perfect time. So, called me to Boston. Went up there, did the interview, came back, had it. The lady wanted me out of her house. She went and filed eviction to get me out of her room in her house, me and my kids. One of them is her grandchild. And so she wanted us out. So, moved to my daughter's house for about a week. I was in a room in her house every day, looking up somewhere to stay, still following God. God, you got to have a plan for me. I knew God had a plan for me. At this point, nothing could break me. I knew that something great was on the way. I just knew it. It was too many downfalls, so I knew that something great was on the way, because that's how things seem to happen. Every time something big and great is on the way for you, it just seems like things just start boom, 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 falling. But you got to just keep that faith, knowing that it's headed there. So she put me out, didn't matter to me, packed my stuff. As soon as they came and said I got 30 days to leave, I packed my stuff right then, got my kids, we left. Went over to my daughter's house for about a week. Every day I used to be in the room searching for somewhere to stay. I ain't had no money. Just searching for a house to stay in. I ain't had no job, no money. But I knew I had just passed the interview. So a job was coming in Boston. So I was looking for somewhere to stay for me and my kids. And I found this one house. The guy had just remodeled it from the inside out. Took the whole house and remodeled the whole thing. And from the inside to the outside. Just the whole entire house. Gorgeous. Smaller home, but just gorgeous for us. Just fit just for me and my kids. 3-bedroom. Very nice. So I went to go see the house, and I walked in there, and he had just put it up. It was 72 hours that he had just put the house on Zillow. And so I went in the middle, walked in the house. The water wasn't even on or anything in the house yet. He had just finished redoing it. So I walked in the house, and he said, I can walk around. And I walked around the house, and it was gorgeous, and everything was brand new. And he was such a nice guy. And he said, okay, what's going on? He was asking me questions. I told him that my daughter goes to school right around the corner. She's in a performing arts school around the corner. My son goes to school right out here. We live in the area with someone else, and I just want to stay in the area. And we just went over, we just talked. And I loved the house. And he said, okay, well, when can you do the application? And when would you like to move in? I said, I want to move in now. And that's when he told me that the water and stuff wasn't working. He just, wasn't on yet. He just finished remodeling it. He said, but you have to do an application first. And I said, no problem. So I filled out the application. He gave me the application. I filled it out. I sent it right back to him. I asked him, when can I move in? I had no money. This is the way I be walking by faith. I had no money. He said that the rent was $1,400. I said, it doesn't matter. I want to move in. I don't know where I was going to get this money from. I had no money. I said, okay, I was just trusting God. I said, okay, I want it. He said, when can you move in? I said, today, with no money. And then he said it wasn't ready. And so then I'm trying to slow down because it's so exciting. This is just a favor of God and how God works. And now I'm just excited and I'm just pumped up. And I'm sorry, my phone rang and it shut off my recording. But this is just the power of God. And I'm so excited. I'm just sweating right now. My heart is beating because I'm just thanking God right now. And I'm telling you, when you walk by God, I put that scripture up today that just said, when you walk with God, he had a plan for us. And so I was talking to him, and he, the guy, the landlord, and, and he told me just send in the application, and I did. So a couple of days later, he said, hey, everything seems to check out on your application. It's going to be, the first month to move in and the first month deposit, and this is, what it costs to move in. And I said, okay. And I kid you not, somebody called me and said, what is it going to take for you to move? I let them know the total amount. I said about $2,500. They gave me $3,000 the next day. I didn't call nobody. I didn't try to go borrow no money. I didn't try to go take out a loan. These are the things I would have ran to just in fear and moving fast. I would have ran and took out a loan. I would have tried to call people to borrow money. I would have did some crazy stuff just to get $3,000 or $2,500 or whatever. But I knew that I was walking with God, and he had showed me so many things leading up to this moment that I just know that he wasn't going to leave me out on this one. So the next night I went on home after I left that house from with that man. The next day, somebody called me and said, what is it going to take for you to move? They ain't know nothing about I went and saw a house. I ain't tell nobody. They ain't know nothing about nothing. They just called me out the blue and said, what is it going to take? I told them $2,500. They gave me $3,000. So the man came back and said the house going to be ready in a week. House ended up being ready in about 3 days. We moved in. As soon as we moved in, about a month after we moved in, it was time. I got hired. I started with Delta January 17th when I had to be back in Boston. I moved in that house at the end of December, right after Christmas. We moved in that house. So as soon as I moved in, it was time for me to go to Boston to work. So my daughter, she was about 16 or 7. She about 16, and my son, he might have been about 8 or 9 years old. All their sports, their school, everything in this community. So I wasn't leaving that community. So a week chance, I sent my daughter to driving school. I showed her how to pay bills. I told her everywhere she had to go to pay the bills at. I told her she had to drive my son to practice, take him to school, make sure he in the bed on time, go to the grocery store. You got to do this for me. So she grew up really fast. At 16 years old, she was helping me out. She did everything. She went to driving school, learned how to drive in a week, because I was not going to teach her how to drive and put my son in the car with her without her knowing the proper way to drive and to be very cautious. So I sent her to driving school. She finished that. She learned how to drive. She learned his whole route, where she learned his whole schedule, his basketball schedule, his sports schedule, his school, put him in the bed on time. She already knew how to cook basically a little bit. She knew how to go to the grocery store. She knew how to pay the bills. She learned everything. So I went to Boston, started working on the 17th, January 17th, my first day. I got to Boston, everybody was open arms like family. You know, I was the minority. Everybody was open arms like family. I have met Ed Bashman, the CEO of our company, twice. Just a tremendous place to work. Everybody was like family. It was just tremendous. It was just for me at the time, and that's what I needed. I'm telling you, God be right on time. He know what we need, and that's what I needed. Got to Boston. Eventually, I fixed my schedule that I would work 3 days. My schedule was 4 days. Out of 7 days, out of a week, it was 4 days. And then I eventually fixed my schedule where it was 3 days. And I eventually fixed my schedule where it was 2 days. So I would fly into Boston on the morning I had to work, fly out back home on the day after my shift. Sometimes I would get stuck in Boston, but so at this point now I have 2 bills. I have Boston. I was living in a crash pad, which is a place where airline people live. So it was, it was very cheap because you're living in a house, and each room has about 3 to 4 people in one room. So you get accustomed to it because you're only there to sleep and to get dressed and to shower and to eat, and then you working. So it was great. I met some great people in Boston, but like I said, that Delta Boston family was the family that I needed at the moment. That was just who I needed. They gravitated to me. They taught me everything about the system. It was a very learning experience. They taught me so much about the Delta system and, rules and policies and procedures. And they just taught me so much. And out of 6 months, a job became available in Atlanta, like at our corporate area, at our corporate building area. And I had no idea that I would approve for it. It was full-time, and people was telling me, hey, full-time people, it takes a long time to go full-time with Delta. It takes years. People here waiting forever to be full-time. Like, you can probably just forget about that. And I was I still applied anyway. And then I got an interview, and I was so happy. I'm telling everybody, hey, I got an interview. They were like, oh, don't worry, they give everybody an interview. You don't have enough seniority. You just started. And then when I got the face-to-face interview in Atlanta, I was like, hey, I got a face-to-face. And everybody was like, oh, my God. They couldn't believe it. And I was just thinking, here go God again. He doing it. This is just a process you got to go through. Everything is a process. If you're trying to get from this side to this side, whatever it is, you got to go through the middle. It's no way around it. You still got to go through the middle. So if you're trying to get from over here to over here, it's just a process. It's just no way around the process. So this is what it was, And so I ended up getting a job in Atlanta, and I just couldn't believe it. I was overwhelmed and ecstatic, and everything was finally working out. And it was just like, wow, like God is doing it. Like, he's just doing over and above for me. Like, that's why he said he'll do exceedingly and abundantly, like beyond our imagination, more than what we can think or imagine. Like, I couldn't have thought this up for myself. Like, I just could not think this up for myself. So that's why I be feeling that word so bad, like so strongly, because he would do exceedingly abundantly. And it's just like more than what you can think or ask. Like, I really feel that, like, in my spirit, in my soul, in the inside. Like, I don't live this for real. So it's kind of like I don't have a choice but to believe the word of God right now, because it's working for me. So I just believe it. Like, it works. Like, I'm not the one to sit up here and tell you, oh, just read this and believe it. If you don't see any actions, it's kind of hard for you to believe it. But when God starts showing you these actions, you don't have you just believe. Like, I just believe. So I got the job in Atlanta, moved back to Atlanta with my family. I told you my daughter, she was awesome. She was doing everything. And I moved back home, you know, and I was just so excited. And things just went up from there. Things just progressed. I learned more of the Delta system. I was always telling people I work for my dream job. This is my dream job. And that's why I love this company so much. Like, people don't be understanding why I be posting about Delta so much, or I talk about Delta so much, is because this is like was destined for me already. It was just a plan that God already had for me. You know, if he would have gave it to me back then, I wouldn't be where I am now. So he knew when to give it to me. And it's just been up from here. And never would I imagine not having someone to take care of us, or help me financially, or, you know, just be here for me financially. I couldn't have never thought in a million years I couldn't have thought this up, that I would be able to do this by myself. I always had help. I always had someone that would provide for us. So me doing this alone is just so big for me, you know, and I just know that God is showing me who I am. Like, you can do this, you know, back to who I am. You know, you can do this. You're a strong person. And when I moved in that house, I just know that wasn't it for me. You know, I knew that wasn't it. I knew that, you know, I was this strong entrepreneur girl that, you know, just wanted more in life. So I started seeking out for more. You know, at that point I was on fire. You know, it's just like, if I can reach this, I can do that. If I can do this, I can do that. And as I progressed with the company, even in my life, as I progressed, it just seemed like that I just wanted more and more. I wanted to seek out the more. So that's what happened. Once you started getting that nudge and just moving up and just moving towards him. I ain't even gonna say moving up, just moving towards who you are. It's just that you want to know more about yourself. You want to pull out who you really are, what you really have in the inside of you. You could never tell me that I would want to be this motivational speaking person. Like, I just want to motivate women like me. Like, that's my purpose. Like, my whole life, I just want to motivate people like me. I want to just let women know that you can do it. Like, you don't have to tolerate this. Like, you are beautiful. Like, I just want to let all women know, and, you know, men too, that this will help. I just want to let people know that, you know, life is what we make it. You know, and wherever you want to be in life, you can be that. And that's the truth. Like, most people say you can be whatever you want to be, and that's just something that people say. No, that's the truth. You can really be whatever you want to be. You can really be whatever you want to be. You know, I just want to be this motivation person, and never would think that I would just be on the screen just talking and motivating people, or trying to motivate you. And I just want you to reach your highest potential, you know. So, you know, and just put everything in a nutshell, I just went from this point to this point, and just how I went through it, you know, and how I got through it. And I would just say the word carried me, you know, and I did have people that, you know, had my back. You know, I can't leave out the people who had my back. You know, I might have had people that said, this girl is crazy, why she doing this or why she doing that. But I also had some people saying that you can do this. You can do this. Let's pray, you know. Or I would call somebody. I would have many down times. I would call people and say, hey, I just need you to pray with me. You know, I don't know what's going on right now. I just need you to pray with me. And I'm telling you, from my landlord to helping me, let me pay my rent late, or let me pay him here and there, or, you know, I never not paid him in a whole month, but it probably took me a whole month to pay him. But, you know, to everybody, that was just a piece of the person that was helping me, you know, get to where I am. And, you know, I decided that, you know, Atlanta was just too noisy for me. You know, it was just too noisy. It was still a struggle. You know, it was still kind of a struggle. It was things that, you know, people that I really didn't want to communicate no more with, or really didn't want to dip and dab or be around it more. So, you know, I always had a dream to move to California. You know, one time I did a big vision board. It's been about 3 years ago. I put California big at the top of the vision board, California. You know, and with a lot of other things that also came to pass. But when I look back, when I moved to California, I pulled that vision board out to revamp it. I saw California so big at the top, I couldn't believe it. It kind of spooked me up. I said, wow, you know, no way I would have thought I would have applied for a position in California, moved to California. Like, at the time I did that vision board, I wasn't thinking California at the time. I was just saying, okay, in the future, I'm going to move to California, but never thinking that it was going to happen like then. And when I put that vision board out, I said, wow. You know, so that's why I'm so big on vision boards. Also, I totally keep revamping my vision board every time I accomplish something. I do. So I kind of set mine up different, so it lasts like over a year, because I do one side that's short term and I do one side that's long term. So my short term kind of helped me get to my long term goals, and that's just something that I keep in front of me to stay focused. So that's the way I do my vision board. And so when I saw California, when I pulled it out, I was like, wow. You know, when I did that vision board along with a group of women that I was with, I wasn't even thinking about California at the time. I was just thinking about trying to live and trying to embrace being by myself and paying all these bills by myself, and, you know, get my kids back on track, and, you know, helping my kids live out their life and their dreams. And I wasn't even thinking about moving at that time. And just to think that I'm in California now, just living it up, you know, God is amazing. You know, God is amazing. That's just the bottom line. Like, that's just the bottom line. And I just want just to sum all this up. I know I said that before, but just to sum all this up, I'll get into more details in the book. And my second video will be about how I moved from Atlanta to California, from moving from full-time to part-time, staying in California, how the state you can live in, and how I did it. So that'll be my next video. And I'm so happy you guys were listening to me, and I'm so happy you guys are, you know, just take from this and just subscribe to my YouTube channel. More and more be coming. This is just my first one, so I was unprepared. I wouldn't say I was unprepared. I was ready, but I thought I wanted some lights and I wanted a camera and all this stuff, and it didn't work out that way, because when God tells you to do something, you just got to move and do it, no matter whether you have the equipment, the money, the nothing. Just move and do it, because He's moving us somewhere. So yeah, that's what I want to say. And everybody have a good day. And today is Sunday, and happy birthday to me. Well, today is Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday, but I'm going to release it on Monday, because that's my birthday. And so that's when I want to release it. So everybody have a good day. And yeah, just stay focused. Stay focused. Stay grinding. It's coming.